Hi everyone, and welcome back to Arguably Speaking. And this evening we are back from Thanksgiving. Sarah had her Thanksgiving a little early. I just came back from my Thanksgiving. And now we're back filming.
Yay.
Yay.
We both had a really good time. I think I talked about traveling to see my parents last time. So do you want to tell me about your Thanksgiving that you got to have with your fam bam?
Yeah, it was really nice. So I went back to Colorado as we do in this household. And I wasn't originally going to go back for Thanksgiving. It's just really hard. It's a quick turnaround from Thanksgiving to like winter break. And so I was like, this year I'm gonna stay here. But my mom called me and she was really sad. And she was like, Kiera, are you really not gonna come home for winter break this year? Or not winter break, sorry. For Thanksgiving this year? And I was like, and she's like, please. And so I ended up figuring it out and going back. And also her birthday is really close to Thanksgiving, so it always feels like I'm visiting not only for Thanksgiving but also for her birthday.
That's nice.
So I did that, but I was like, well, I do kind of want to make it a surprise. So my grandma, she is 90 years old and doing fabulously. Grandma Wanda is killing it.
Amazing.
She's in great health. Very exciting. But I wanted to make it a surprise for her.
Yeah.
And so we didn't tell her. And every time I'd talk to her on the phone, she would also be like, "You're really not coming home for Thanksgiving?" Like, I don't know. Our families like to be together for the holidays for sure. It's like, it's definitely a bigger priority than in some others. And I kept being like, no, like, I'll let you know if anything changes. But as of now, no. And don't worry, I'll be back for winter break and whatever. But then I showed up on Wednesday evening, the night before Thanksgiving, and like then I didn't see her Thursday morning because I was helping my mom cook. And then I opened the door when she walked up and she was like, I didn't think you were supposed to be here. Like, she was like, she has a little southern accent because she's from Texas. And she was almost so surprised that she didn't sound surprised. Almost as like, did I forget that you said you were going to be here? But then later she's like, oh, this makes sense. Like, this is why your mom asked me to make mashed potatoes, because mashed potatoes are my favorite. Amazing. And she was really happy, and it was great to see her. And my dad came down, some family friends. It was good.
Nice. So, that sounds lovely.
It was lovely. And it snowed 8 inches in Colorado.
That's so wild to me.
I got in, and I was really, really lucky that I got in before the snowstorm and everything.
Wow.
And then it just snowed the whole time we were there.
Gosh.
It was lovely.
That sounds really nice. Someone was asking me the other day if I'll be okay with, like, you know, not having a white Christmas, and I was like, haha, I'm going home to Colorado. Yeah. I'll get a white Christmas, or at least some snow sometime while I'm there.
Like, you could see the mountains have snow on them, which is kind of Christmassy. Right.
Well, and sometimes we go up and, like, go sledding or something, so
yeah,
I'll get snow.
I would say that where we live in Colorado, usually it's like a 50-50 shot if you're going to get a white Christmas.
Yeah.
But there's a higher chance that we'll get one either white Christmas or one a white, like, New Year's.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, you usually get one of the two.
Yeah. For a couple years there, it would snow on Halloween.
Yes,
and then,
it was cold. And no one can see your costume.
Yeah. One year I went as a Russian princess, and just because I wanted to wear this big felt cape. It was a cool cape.
And, like, warm.
Like a muff.
Yeah, a muff, that's what they're called.
A little muff. So fun. But yeah, so we did our Friendsgiving here, and it was very fun. You know, the women folk did most of the cooking, and the men folk were there and followed
Patriarchy.
directions.
Boo.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun though, and we had a lot of really good food. The asparagus and Brussels sprouts were particularly my favorite. My family usually does like green bean casserole and more like typical Thanksgiving type fare, and so it was fun to kind of like have some things
modern.
Yeah, have some things that were like, you know, still definitely like event food, you know?
Something that's special, out of the ordinary.
Yeah, like you wouldn't like sit down and wrap bacon around asparagus for yourself on a Tuesday, you know? But it was really fun. I ended up spending $6 to be able to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I signed up for that streaming service. Which was fine. I feel like I've gotten my $6 worth because the parade's like 3.5 hours long.
I didn't realize how long it was. I sat there for the whole time.
Really?
Yes, I watched it from beginning to... Well,
Cher was on.
Yeah, I know.
I love that.
And it wasn't quite the beginning because I woke up a little later, but like watched it to the end, and I was like, wow.
It's an event. It's
the
like
Macy's
a really long...
Thanksgiving Day Parade is very, very long.
Yeah. Well, because I was talking with my mom about that, and all the big box stores are kind of going out of business. People just don't shop inside
No more brick
anymore.
and mortar.
Yeah, exactly. So we were talking about it, and it's like, okay, is Macy's gonna make a transition to be mainly online and try not to die that way? Or is it gonna become like the Amazon Thanksgiving Day Parade? You know what I mean?
I think Macy's, like, is too iconic for that, like the actual active parading. Yeah.
That's
but
fair.
The brick and mortar stores are not a thing. Same, that's how Black Friday is too.
No, yeah, it is. It is.
Because there's not the same... I think there's two things that have contributed to the fall of Black Friday. One is the fact that brick and mortar stores simply just aren't as popular as they used to be. Like, people aren't going out and shopping in person. Going online is too easy, and you can click and get similar deals.
Yeah, right.
And two, it's because people know and can communicate a lot quicker about what these deals are and talk with others and see if they're worth it. Not only are the deals less, but, you know, you're not getting 80-90% off something anymore.
Yeah.
You're getting like 20-30% off, and you know that ahead of time.
Right.
Whereas
it's like
when
less motivating.
people would line up and wait for these Black Friday deals, like people were skipping out on Thanksgiving to go to Black Friday early at like midnight, or even they'd like extend them sometimes earlier.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't know necessarily what the deals were.
Right.
Or you would only know what a couple of them were.
You knew like this was going to be for sale, or like, you know, because like the new item or whatever was hitting the market.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Did you ever camp out for a Black Friday sale?
No, I feel like I was too young at the time, and I didn't have enough stuff that I was like, I want this.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It was like, what am I going to do with a blender that's 90% off? Nothing.
That's so fair. We would never like camp, but me and my mom usually did go shopping, and we'd always go to Kohl's.
Kohl's is a good one.
Good deals.
Totally.
And then sometimes my dad and I would go to Best Buy, because you know he's a computer guy, loves his computer doodads
and whatnot.
Yeah. But I did get like a laptop computer when I was in middle school from Best Buy on Black Friday. Yeah, it was neat. And it had like a touch screen, and I broke it because I dropped a bottle of hairspray on it. Which is like so funny. Because like, what was I doing with hairspray? I didn't really do my hair in middle school. Like, what is going on?
I think the only thing I ever got was like maybe some like cosmetic-y stuff, or we used to go to Pier 1 and get all of their ornaments and stuff, and it was so fun to pick out new ones, and then it closed, or at least the one near us closed. I think a lot of them closed down.
Yeah.
And we'd go to Walmart and Target, as well as like Kohl's and stuff. But Walmart and Target secretly have good deals. Maybe not so much Walmart.
Yeah.
Or sorry, not so much Target. Actually, Walmart does.
Interesting.
Because every day they'll mark it down more. So the day after, it's like 30% and then 40%, or maybe that's Christmas sale. I don't remember exactly.
Nice.
I think now that
Okay. Well, this Black Friday, I did not go shopping. I instead finished all of the sewing projects that I had abandoned previously, and I made a little TikTok about it. And it was fun.
Cute.
It was fun. Because it was like, that was a very big motivator, too. It was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to finish all these projects, which will be good. So, like, I put handles on a tote bag I had started, and I sewed a button on a pair of pants I had made, like, added elastic to a skirt that had been dyeing. But because I was like, I'm going to do this for the video, it meant that I had to finish it. So that was good. But yeah, now I have all of these items that I can use again, and I didn't have to spend any money, and I didn't participate in corporate America or, you know, capitalism. So it was good. It was a good time.
I didn't spend any money on Black Friday or do much of anything. I read a book.
Amazing.
I finished a whole book over Thanksgiving break. which was great. I just got to sit down and read,
Aww.
and ignored all of my other work.
Amazing.
Which was wonderful.
Amazing.
And slept a lot, which
Sleeping
was lovely
is so
too.
good. There's something about sleeping in your parents' house too, where you're like, oh, no responsibility.
Yeah, no responsibilities.
Yeah. I whispered that. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
I said it because I was like, the little line went silent.
The audio was completely gone.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I have an update for Kiera because she was gone, and okay, the person I had mentioned going on a tour of the underground with and going axe throwing, we went to the Pike Place Market tree lighting.
Oh.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
It's my idea. I was a little tentative about asking him to go with me at first because he had said something that was like a little Scroogey, where it was like, typical Christmas going and messing up my plans.
Oh, yes.
And
yes,
I was
yes.
like, oh no, does he hate Christmas? This is bad. Turns out, doesn't hate Christmas, just isn't like, doesn't have the same sort of things that my family has for Christmas, you know? And I was like, okay, fair. But anyways, went to Pike Place Market. There's a lot of decorations. It was very fun. We walked around. I don't think either of us bought anything besides, like, we got dinner there, which was nice. But yeah, we just kind of, like, walked around and looked at a bunch of different stuff. I do a lot of crafts. When I go to a place that sells doodads and knickknacks,
And
I'm
whatnots.
like, wow, I could pay $45 for someone else to have made this thing. Or I could probably just make it myself.
For at least,
Like,
somewhat
10,
less.
maybe, you know?
Yeah.
Like, some of this stuff I wouldn't be able to make very easily on my own, you know? I'd have to go to, like, a pottery shop or something. But, like, the bleach dyeing shirts, I could probably bleach dye something and have it turn out, like, to be pretty cool. Or, like, the wire jewelry. I could, like, just get some jewelry tweezers. Psh, easy. But yeah.
But it's all about the labor and time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's true. It's like I'm probably not gonna do that.
But you're
because
not
I don't
paying
really
yourself.
need it. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's
So you
just,
don't have to factor that in.
Yeah. So needless to say, I didn't buy anything. But okay, so I really don't know that much about this person, and there were a couple comments throughout the day that were standing out to me.
Okay.
One of which was like, I was talking about getting to see my niece at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, no, like, she's 6 months old and I've only seen her twice, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, yeah, like, I have a niece and I see her, like, maybe once every 5 years. Whoa. And I was like, wow. And so he was like, yeah, no, like, I saw her when she was 1, and then the next time I went back, she was, like, in school and going ice skating and stuff. Aww. And I was like, wow, that's wild. So that was one comment, and these might seem unrelated, but they'll come together at the end. Another one, we were in like a store that sold comic book things and stuff, and I was like, oh, did you ever read comic books? And he was like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like the last time I really like looked at or even flipped through a comic book was like 1998. And I was like, that's a long time ago. That's so long ago.
I didn't think he was that old.
He looks young.
Uh-oh.
So, okay. It's not crazy. Let's calm down. But at the same time, I thought this man was 25 because of a previous comment in the light rail where he was like, in all my 25 years of living, I don't think I've ever done this. And I was like, noted.
You're 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Reasonable logic.
Now I'm like 1998. I guess it's 2023. That is 25, but it's a comic book, right? So I'm like, okay.
You had to have been able to like hold the pages and remember to flip them.
This isn't really adding up right now.
Yeah.
And then he said another thing later where he was talking about like owning something. I can't remember what it was. It's like, I think it was like a plushie or something, like a stuffed animal. And it's like, oh yeah, like, I've had one like that looks like this dog for 30 years. I think that's like the longest like item that I've ever owned is that like plushie. And I was like, 30. Oh my god. Right. And so I'm just like noting all of these comments in the back of my mind if we're going about and having like a pretty like very pleasant time, you know, like just walking around looking at knickknacks and things. And I like exposed myself, and I was like, you need to know that I am entirely, like, in love with Christmas, and I am a little aggressive about it, and brings me a lot of joy, you know? And he was like, hey, that's totally fine, whatever. You know, we're just not the same. And then I'd point out things, and I'd be like, look at these little stockings, you know?
And he'd be like, cool.
Okay. And it's like, I'm just brought joy so easily sometimes, and I feel like it's a good way to live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But anyways, okay, we're at the Christmas tree lighting, whatever. The lights click on. I'm like, yay, we take a picture. There's no smooch that happens, right?
Okay.
The opportunity did not arise. I was not going to take it. We were just, whatever, right? Some person, it was, okay, so you know the Pike Place Market sign? For those of you who have not been there, huge sign. And then there's, like, the outdoor street. And then there's, like, these indoor shops. It's like a really long building.
The sign is above. It should be noted. The sign is above.
It's like a long building.
And then
L. Yeah. Okay, and then the sign's above the long L building. So they had someone go up and stand on top of the building with a guitar. Cool. And they sang two, like, holiday songs. And it was really fun. And I was like, oh my gosh, if the whole crowd starts singing right now, I'm going to cry. And no one sang except for me. And it was really kind of a bummer. But Blake was like, I just don't know the words to these songs. And it was like...
What were they?
Songs that people should know. They weren't... None of them said the word Christmas, though. I did note that. But it was just two. Oh, gosh. It's the most wonderful time of the... It's the most wonderful time. And then something else. Nah, it doesn't really matter. But still, it was like... These are... well-known.
Very common songs.
Yeah. But I did sing, and that made me happy, but also I was like, crowd is lame. And there were we also were talking, there were like 6 children in that crowd.
Wow.
Like, it was mostly adults.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, weird.
I would have gone, but I wasn't in town.
Hey, it was fun.
I would have sung with you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It makes me happy. But the woman who was standing in front of me did turn around and say, you have a lovely voice.
Aww.
And I was like, oh. My night has been made. But anyways, okay, so we leave, we're like, okay, bye. Come back here, and I'm like, okay, roommates / friend that is over. Here are all of the things that were said. How old do we think this man is? You know?
Yeah.
Because someone had previously asked me, you know, what my, like, age dating range was, and I was like, I don't know, probably, like, 21 to, like, 27, but they have to be, like, a young 27.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, this man is at least 30 and could possibly be older, you know?
I feel like he can't... Did you come to a conclusion?
So, yes.
Okay.
So, I texted him and I was like, hey, like, it's kind of funny that I still don't really know your last name. Like, my name is Sarah Van Hare. And he was like, oh, yeah, my name is, like, blah, blah, blah. And so then I, like, was using his name to, like, try and find out who old he is. Right?
Detective skills.
So then he was like, haha, also, I'm 30. I'm not very good at guessing ages. How old are you? And I was like, how do I respond to this? Because I'm pretty sure that the reason that he was saying that was because he looked me up.
Yeah.
And there's definitely things out there that you can, like, use to figure out how old I am.
Yeah, you can deduce at least a pretty slim range.
Yeah. Like, I have an Instagram account, and I think it says when I graduated from college, you know, which was this year, 2023.
Yeah. Very recently.
Yeah, not 8 years ago.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm 2022, like, hard stop. I didn't put an exclamation point. I didn't put a period or anything. And then he was like, wow.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that, you know, that's younger than I expected. And I was like, yeah,
you're older than I
you're
thought
also
you were.
older than I expected. And he was like, you ought to just be friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but I was also just like, wow.
Dang.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's
Going
my
out
update.
with a 30-year-old.
I know.
Wow.
Who would have thunk? But he did look young.
He did. I've seen pictures.
He definitely doesn't give 30 years old energy.
He's giving 26.
Yeah. Well, and, like, I don't think that I necessarily look young.
No.
For my age, so, like, we look similarly aged.
Yeah, like, if you were going out on a date, I wouldn't be like, that seems weird.
Yeah,
like, that seems like there's a big age gap.
Right, yeah.
Well.
But, hey, here we are. So me and my friend went out for drinks, not because of that, but we used it as an excuse. And then we made some friends at the bar who were 28, and I was like, see? I was on a date with a 30-year-old.
I can be friends with a 28.
So funny. But yeah, so, and now I'm here.
And now you're here.
Yep.
Young and spry as ever.
Yeah, I know. Look at me. I am a youth.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my update on that.
Well, thank you for the update. I was dying to know. We were trying to hold it in so much because it was like sometimes we can run out of stuff to say. It's like no.
Yeah.
Wait.
Like, we're saving this for the pod just because like I really was such a sleuth with the it's like how many and when.
Well, he probably had an inkling when you were like, "What's your last name?"
Yeah,
I
right.
need to stalk you a little. But he clearly did the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think it was good. The question is like, do I actually want to continue being friends with this person?
I think the answer is no.
Probably not. But he is getting a puppy.
Yeah, but I think both of you are going to mutually ghost. That is what I am guessing.
Yeah, probably. But hey, I had 3 very fun outings that I did not spend any money on. And so I'm feeling like it was not
not time wasted.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is a win in my dating book.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does feel like time wasted,
More often than not.
Yeah, there you are. But anyways, that's me.
Yeah, it was wonderful to hear about your stories. And so I think we should jump to some stories that are not our own.
Amazing.
Sorry, that was my segue. It
was perfect.
It wasn't great.
I loved it.
I'm trying. And I have actually pulled together some Reddit stories for us to listen to.
I'm ready.
That are all somewhat related to food. Some are Thanksgiving related, some are not.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to figure out how to use Reddit. Okay, so how this is going to work is I am going to read you 2 titles, and then I'll let you pick which one we start with.
Perfect.
And I think I have like 4 different stories. We'll probably go through all of them regardless, but I'll let you pick.
I love it.
So, the first one is, am I the asshole for poisoning my housemate who ate my food without my permission and ended up in the ER? Or, am I the asshole for telling my friend's boyfriend that he shouldn't be allowed to eat?
Oh my god. Let's do the friend's boyfriend one first. Yeah.
Great. So, how it goes is, well, they're all differently structured, but some of them have like me and then like a male, female, and then an age.
Okay.
And OP usually means like original poster. I've been trying to do my research on this because I'm not trying to snub any stories.
Yeah.
But bear with me, I might miss some things.
You're doing great.
So this is on the Am I the Asshole subreddit, I think.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And it goes, some friends and I decided to do the trend where we have a dinner and everyone brings a food that starts with the first letter of their name. There is one friend of ours that's a bit of a moocher. Whenever we go out, she never pays her stuff, whether it's the dinner bill, tickets for movies, etc. We always end up paying for her, but everyone has just accepted this and doesn't really have an issue with it. However, recently it's become worse. She's been dating this guy for a couple of months, and she brings him everywhere with her, even when he's not invited. So now we have 2 people to pay for her. Also, I feel like I have to say this, is that they both have jobs. They're not struggling. It'd be different if they were broke, and then of course I wouldn't mind. But yeah, we had the dinner last night, and everyone brought food and put a lot of effort into it. These 2, however, showed up with absolutely nothing. Not even a bottle of soda.
Aww.
We were annoyed, but nobody said anything. It wasn't until the end of the night when they were leaving that I cracked a little. The friend's boyfriend was taking home all the barbecue ribs that were left. I repeat, all of it.
Dang.
And it was a lot. Like, damn, be considerate at least. I am reading this word for word.
I love it.
I'm trying to. He emptied the entire tray of ribs into a container. That's when I politely asked, can you maybe not take all of it? The others might want some too. He got all defensive and asked, why are you treating me like I'm stealing all the food? I clarified
because
that...
you are stealing all the food.
Right? I clarified that I never said such a thing and that I only asked that he didn't take all of it. He got angry, plopped the ribs back and said, "Fine, I don't need your food." To which I replied, "It kind of seems like you do. And to be honest, you shouldn't have eaten it at all since you didn't contribute." Again, as usual.
Dang.
Then my friend came, took him, and just left without saying anything. Now apparently she's angry with us, but mainly me.
Okay.
Most of my friend group doesn't think I did anything wrong, but there are a couple who are saying that I shouldn't have said anything. The thing is that I didn't even say anything to my friend, just her boyfriend, because I don't mind that she doesn't contribute. Her boyfriend was the one that was irritating me. He eats the most food but doesn't contribute. Drinks the most alcohol, doesn't contribute. Orders really expensive meals at restaurants, doesn't contribute towards the bill. I guess I kind of got annoyed and snapped at him. I tried phoning her to clarify that I don't have any issue with her, but she's ignoring me. I don't know, maybe I should have left well enough alone. So that is the full post.
Okay. I have thoughts.
Say your thoughts.
I think that I personally would be upset with the friend as well.
Me too.
Because it's not, like, sure, her boyfriend is the one that's, like, having
also
these,
mooching. Yeah.
like, the mooching and the, like, buying the most expensive things, blah, blah, blah. But it's, like, her, like, she's, like, responsible for his actions.
Yeah, and she's also enabling it.
Yeah, because, like, you know, she's bringing him along. She's, like, setting a precedent for him to follow.
And
you know?
also still, like, even though her friends are okay with mooching, like, that doesn't mean that overall I think is an okay moral.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moral sounds, like, really aggressive.
Thing to do. Action?
Yeah.
Yeah. Habit? I don't know. And also just, like, don't take all the ribs.
Don't take everything.
You wouldn't, that's like, you don't, if it's a shared item. Okay, so I bought a variety pack of Twisted Teas, and they're on my counter, and I was looking for a half and half flavored one last night because I got the pack, like, for Thanksgiving, right? And I was looking for one, and I was like, oh man, where are all the, like,
where's
there's
this
gotta
flavor?
be one more half and half in here. I haven't seen many people drinking them. Apparently one friend drank all of that flavor, and I was like, if it's a shared thing, you always leave the last one, or you ask to be like, hey, this is the last one of this flavor, do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Or I think even if you if it's a shared thing, if you've been drinking all of that flavor, like, you shouldn't just plow through it. Like, if you have one and you didn't realize it was the last one, like, it happens,
that's okay.
whatever.
That's okay.
And you're just like, oh, this is just the flavor I happened to pick up.
Yeah.
It happens. But drinking all of it, it's the all or nothing kind of thing.
Right, exactly. You don't take all the ribs. Now, I don't know, potlucks, you bring the amount of food that you anticipate eating. Yeah. Maybe some more if you're going to be taking leftovers from other people's home. You know what I mean?
Usually I don't take other people's leftovers unless it's offered. Like, oh, everyone please take some. Like, I'm not going to eat enough of this. Usually I will only take my leftovers.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. Oftentimes I will take someone else's leftovers. But it's never more than, like, a single portion. Mm-hmm. You know? I'm like, oh,
and there's always some left.
These potatoes were really good. I'm going to take an additional one more portion size home.
Yeah.
For a leftover or something like that. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I feel like, probably having that conversation with the boyfriend, it happened because of the ribs, which I understand. But, like, having that, like, you didn't bring anything conversation maybe might have been better to have with the friend.
Yeah, and I think it kind of just slipped out. I'm sure it slipped out in the moment.
Right.
I feel like I would have said something to the friend before it even got to that point.
Yeah.
I think I would have pulled the friend aside because clearly the boyfriend, it sounded like, had been there for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I would have pulled the friend aside and said, like, hey, I know, like, collectively as a friend group, we've all been, like, you know, cool with splitting things and having you around, but, like, especially your boyfriend, who we don't know as well and is starting to join us for all of these, it'd be really nice if they pitched in a little bit.
Contributed, like, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so do.
Exactly. You know? And even if that friend, the friend that you're talking to, doesn't get the hint and is just like, I'm going to keep mooching off stuff, those things have been said.
Yeah.
Like, the words have been said. It's not something that's been, like, festering up. It's like, they're aware.
Yeah.
This is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's fair. That would probably help. Well, and then you could later be like, hey,
I've
I've
already
had this conversation with you about this
exactly
behavior, etc. I will say that a friend in college, I was not home for the summer. I was working at a summer camp. But like a friendship had been broken because it was one of those instances where it's like every time that they would hang out with a certain friend, that friend would bring their partner, and like, you know, it came to a point where it was like they had this event planned to, like, I can't remember what holiday it was. I don't know, some summer holiday, right? It wasn't the 4th of July, but it was something around then.
yeah.
It was like they were going to go to a lake and they were going to bring, you know, food and stuff and grill and stuff like that, you know, and had been like rather poignant about like, this is for the girls, you know, like this is a
Just
girls
us.
event. And that person like brought their partner and everything, and that friendship was like tainted, and they got into a huge fight and ended up not being friends anymore.
Wow.
Yeah. Kind of wild.
Yeah.
Be
Careful. Be careful.
Yeah.
Think about your actions.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are a few. I didn't realize I had saved this many. I definitely want to talk about the food poisoning one, but I'm going to give you another option before we get there.
Perfect.
So, the first one is, am I the asshole for getting upset when my partner packs her lunch for the next day before we've even had a chance to eat our dinner? So that's the first one.
Okay.
And then the second one is, am I the asshole for telling my son he will pay back for the cheese and meat or he won't be eating Thanksgiving dinner tomorrow?
I think we should do the second one again.
Okay, sounds
I
good.
think that's funny.
It's a shorter one.
Okay.
So I'll keep this one short. This is from Week Sherbert 426.
Nice.
I don't know if I said the name to the last one. Sorry, I just thought that was a funny name for this one.
That is funny.
But it starts like this. I'll keep this one short. Every year we have charcuterie board before Thanksgiving meal at 6. Just something everyone can pick at so they aren't dying of hunger by dinner time. My son, 16, loves cheese, and due to this, I make sure to label when he can't eat something. I label all the stuff for Thanksgiving don't eat.
Okay.
Well, yesterday, he went and ate all of the fancy meats and basically ate from each block that I bought. I truly was pissed since I worked extra hours to pay for it since the prices are awful now for a nice cheese.
Yeah.
I told him he needs to go to the store to replace all of it, which would cost him around $70. One of the cheeses he ate was $18.
Dang.
Or he doesn't get to eat Thanksgiving meal. He's refusing to pay for it back, so no Thanksgiving meal. He will eat a sandwich instead, and he thinks I'm being a horrible jerk. My husband is on his side and doesn't understand why I'm so pissed about it. Yeah.
It said do not eat.
It said do not eat.
I don't think that they're the asshole.
I don't think so either. I also am shocked that the husband is siding with the son.
That's shocking. Because now, like...
And I'm assuming this is like
Like,
mother, and
yeah, right. Well, and like, if it's so close to Thanksgiving, what if you go back and there aren't those cheeses anymore?
Yeah.
Basically ruined the first part of Thanksgiving.
And also, it said she worked overtime.
Yeah.
So, $70 for cheese, that's like quite a lot of cheese, I think. I don't know.
I think
Seattle prices have kind of warped how expensive I think things are, but I do believe that $70 worth of cheese.
I still feel like that's a lot of cheese.
Is a lot of cheese.
Is a lot of cheese.
And
wow.
I would be really sad.
I'd be so upset. Because, like, I don't know. I love me a tradition.
Yeah.
I love me a thing to look forward to. Mm-hmm. If I was a guest, if I was a extended relative who came and there weren't cheeses as there are in, you know, years past, I would be so sad.
Well, and you'd be like, oh.
And hungry.
What do we, yeah.
Yeah.
Hangry.
What do you mean he ate all the cheese?
And I think that's a fair punishment. Also, it's not like a little kid. It'd be one thing if your little kid is like 6 years old and like gets into something and starts eating all the meats and cheeses. Then it's like still super annoying, but they're learning. You would reprimand them. You wouldn't say no Thanksgiving, but I would say okay, I'm buying more meats and cheeses for Thanksgiving. You don't get to eat any of the meats and cheeses for Thanksgiving Day.
Oh, yeah.
You can still have the meal. If they were
You
little.
already had.
If they were little, then that's like kind of, I feel like, a learning thing.
That's fair.
But if they're 16...
You can drive a car.
You can drive a car.
You can drive a car. You can read a note that says do not eat. And
Yeah.
You can go get some cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just really sad.
Just wild. It's one of those things where I'm trying to imagine how I would feel as this, like, son in this situation, and I just simply would never do that.
Yeah.
You know? Because I don't know if it's, like, my parents instilled in me such good moral values, or, like, I would not want to ever have my mom mad at me like that.
I just also feel like I know the tradition. It'd be one thing if it was... I keep saying it'd be one thing, because there are exceptions, but still, I just wouldn't do this.
Yeah.
But if you didn't know what was saying do not eat, and you kind of broke into it, that's not good either.
Yeah.
That still sucks.
Yeah.
But you know what these are for. You know this has a purpose. What's gonna happen if you eat them all?
Yeah.
There's gonna be none left.
Yeah. Part of me is like, was this child in some sort of, like, inebriated state where they, you know, just like,
ate
were like
everything.
any food
That's around.
Yeah. You know? I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
they were.
Maybe
Maybe they weren't. I don't.
Maybe. Cheese doesn't seem like the move.
So there is an edit to this.
Okay.
But the edit somewhat doesn't make so much sense. But there were a lot of comments, and I won't read through all the comments, but some of them were like, I think the, punishment fits the crime. Like, that sounds okay. Some of them are like, well, it is Thanksgiving. It's a holiday.
Yeah.
Maybe there's some other punishment. Yeah, I mean, I think not having Thanksgiving meal and having a sandwich, like, you're still sitting down with everyone. You're not banned from the day.
Right, yeah. You're still in there with the group.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to,
Eat.
But also, like, there's such a good and easy way to get out of having to eat that sandwich. You just go replace the cheese.
Yeah.
And
then it's fine.
Like, it's not a terrible punishment because there's a way to get out of the punishment happening.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. But, it says, edit, thank you, I've made up my mind. I've already informed my mother-in-law of the situation, and she offered to bring a nice cheese board if he still refuses. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm giving him one last chance. He can buy it, not get Thanksgiving tomorrow, or work for 11 hours to make up the money. I like that idea from some other Redditor. I have a feeling he won't do either of these options given, so probably no Thanksgiving, and my relatives will understand.
Well,
Yeah. So
nice.
you could also just work for 11 hours, maybe like work around the house for like a certain amount of chores.
Yeah,
that
right.
kind of alleviates, I don't know, some of the pressure.
Yeah.
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 Which
Dang.
seems also acceptable.
Yeah. Hey, you're giving back the, I guess, energy
Yeah.
that you ate.
Food.
This
really.
Gouda is some delicious energy.
I would think that.
That's so funny. Okay.
Okay.
Want to do the roommate one next, or do you want to do...
So, am I the asshole for poisoning my housemate who ate my food without my permission and ended up in the ER? Or am I the asshole for getting upset when my partner packs her lunch for the next day before we've even had a chance to eat our dinner?
I say we save the housemate one for last.
I agree.
Nice.
I agree. I was about to say the same thing because I actually haven't read this one all the way through.
Oh, okay.
And so it's from Previous Boss 1999.
Nice. That's the year after, that person I was on a date with
Read a comic.
read a comic. It's wild. It's crazy. Anyways.
But this one's a little shorter too.
Still not alive.
But I'm interested because it's got they'll have little tick marks to say if they're an asshole or not an asshole for like the group votes.
Interesting.
In the past we've aligned with them.
Okay.
And I don't know if you saw this one already.
I know.
Okay, great. So I'll just read it and then I also haven't read it. We'll say if we think you'll have to because I know.
Okay. Perfect.
Great.
Okay.
Great. Glad we went over that.
I got it. I understand.
Okay. Normally, I'm the one who cooks because I enjoy it, and I'm the better cook. When my partner gets home from work, the meal is usually ready or close to ready. She sets it on the table, it's just us, no kids, and usually she will wash her lunchbox and immediately pack her lunch for tomorrow, straight from the stove. This is done before we've even had a chance to sit down and eat the meal I've cooked. I don't know why exactly, but this behavior really annoys me. She says it's because she's tired after eating and doesn't want to do it then, but I've pointed out that she can pack her lunch after she has washed the dinner plates and while I'm putting the leftovers into Tupperware containers. This has also happened once or twice when we've had guests for dinner. To me, making her lunch plate before anyone else has a chance to eat the food feels like self-serving behavior. She's literally serving herself first. Maybe it's petty, but it bothers me, and when I mentioned it to her, she got defensive and said that I was creating a fake problem. While it's not a big issue, it is an action that makes me feel not good, and she has the ability to change her behavior, but refuses to. Am I the asshole, and is this not a thing, or should she wait until after we eat to pack her lunch? Edit. Oh, well, I'll stop there.
Okay.
I'll stop there.
I will say, okay, this is gonna sound like I'm talking about something different, but I swear it's the same thing.
Okay.
My mom is so busy, and she loves to be busy. Something that she and Kiera are very similar in, right? And
Hi,
so
Michelle.
if it's the difference between like having 10 minutes of just kind of waiting around and doing nothing, or, you know, trying to squeeze in a 15-minute task, she's gonna squeeze it, you know?
Fair.
And this particularly happens whenever I am working on making delicious food or my dad is working on making delicious food. And then it's one of those things where, like, you know, when you're making like a meal and different parts and pieces coming together, you're like trying to get it all to happen and be done at the same point, right? You know, you're boiling this, you're baking that, you're toasting
And
whatever,
then it all...
and you want it all to be done at the same time, so it's all hot and you can just put it on the table, everybody sits down and eats it. You know, and so then it's one of those things where it's like, my mom's like, I don't want to just sit here and wait for your, you know, last 10 minutes of cooking. I'm gonna run out and try and get something done, you know? And usually it's something where it's like, okay, yeah, it would be nice to have that done before, you know, we eat dinner. Like feeding the horses, you know, or like watering the flowers in the front lawn or something like that, right? But at the same time, you just know for certain that she's not going to be back after you've like planned and prepared the entire meal to end at a certain time. And so I just feel like that situation is like very similar to that, where it's like you've worked hard on making this be finished and hot and like, you know, at its most
prime.
best exactly like state, and then it's like, okay, it'll be fine. We can just wait. It's okay. We'll just wait like a small amount of time. But like, I tried so hard and I planned so well and it worked, and now we're still eating later.
Yeah. And in my mind, this is actually like, they'll make the meal and then they'll eat the meal and then whatever leftovers they have would be the lunch.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, it would be significantly better if she was making lunch that was a completely separate meal. You know, if she's making food, like putting together a sandwich for the next day, that is not whatever dish they've made for dinner.
Right.
Because I think it would hurt me to have someone like scoop a big scoop of like my food that I've just made into like some little Tupperware.
Right.
I'm like, no, let's eat it while it's hot.
And we'll enjoy it. And then also like, depending on portion sizing, because it sounds like they do this all the time. They probably make a decent amount of food so that there's always leftover.
Yeah.
But like, what if you want to go back for seconds? You're still hungry,
and there's not anything
and it's gone. I don't know. I feel like that would make me sad. I don't think that this is like a problem and we need to have a discussion. Yeah. But I think it could be like, hey, like, this does kind of bother me. Can we not do that?
It
Which
sounds like
is
they've
maybe what they
it.
did.
Yeah, they mentioned it.
I don't know. I feel like it's an easy behavior to correct.
Yeah.
I don't know. The more I'm saying about it, the more I'm like, I kind of agree with the poster.
I kind of agree with the poster too. It's small and it sounds petty. I don't think they're the asshole. I don't actually think anyone is the asshole. This is not like a offense that is so bad that I would label you an asshole for it. You know.
Yeah.
But it is something that's like kind of it could border disrespectful eventually if they're continually telling you to not do something or requesting that you do.
Yeah.
Something that could really easily, like, a really easy change in your behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and, like, I don't know. If you're tired after dinner, like, pack your... I don't know. Have dinner earlier? No. I don't know. Like, there's not really a great solution for that, to be fair.
So, this I'm actually going to read a couple comments on.
Okay.
Because we are in the minority.
Really?
People think that this poster is the asshole.
Dang!
Yeah, I know. I was shocked when I read that. I was like, I don't think anyone is really an asshole, but I think it's kind of disrespectful when somebody asks you to do something to not, like, kind of have more of a discussion, especially with your partner.
Yeah, right.
But this first one says, you're the asshole because you get upset without a reason. Your wife likes your lunch enough to be sure she'll like them without even tasting them first. That's a compliment of awesome proportions. To make sure that everyone can eat their heart out, her lunch portion is already put aside, so there's no fuss about that either. She could pack a lunch at 1,000,000 different times, but she chooses this one, and you can't even say what's bothering you about it. But there's something a bit alarming, and I hope I'm wrong. Something. I don't know. I'm a bit confused with how this message is laid out, but essentially this person is like, you're getting upset with no reason.
Yeah.
She really likes to, like, pack your lunch because you make good food.
Yeah.
But this one says...
I feel like the packing the food is less of a compliment than, like, oh my gosh, this looks delicious, I want to dig in right away.
Yeah.
You know?
Someone else says, did you all miss the point where the poster said that his partner does this even when there's guests?
Yeah.
So I guess that's a point too. I wouldn't really, like, if it's guests, it feels like everyone should eat first.
Right.
And have leftovers.
Yeah, definitely.
And OP is doing the cooking, original poster. Where I come from, the chef decides when the food is served. There's no digging through the pot in advance, not the asshole.
Nice. I feel like that's closer to what we were saying.
Yeah. And another person says, it doesn't matter if there's 2 people or 20 people. You don't go digging in and taking food from the meal before the person who prepared it says it's okay. That's just straight up rude. And you certainly don't go taking extra helpings for any reason before everyone has had first, regardless of if the meal was prepared with the intention of there being leftovers. If you're the cook and you portion out the leftovers before feeding people, that's your choice as the cook. If you weren't the cook, keep your hands off of it until the cook says otherwise.
Yeah. If the partner was the one who was making the food, I would have no issue with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Making someone food, I feel like, is a very life-giving, like, service. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're making it for someone and you want them to appreciate it. Like, yeah. I don't know.
Well, thankfully, edit. We had a chat about it and agreed that when I cook, I will box her lunch as I plate our dinners. That way her lunch gets packed and put away, and I don't get annoyed at her for swooping in on my hard work.
Oh.
So it sounds like they found, like, a middle ground where, like, the food packing and the food eating can take place simultaneously.
Nice. That's good.
But as I was kind of, like, scrolling through the comments really quickly, it seems like most people who comment said not the asshole, but, like, the overall vote was still asshole.
Interesting.
So most people that were voting, I guess, just weren't commenting.
Yeah, interesting. I'm intrigued by that.
Intriguing.
The comment to vote ratio.
It's different. I don't really know how Reddit works. We're noobs.
Hey.
But
we haven't been on this earth for very long. Especially not long enough for some people to date us. Anyways.
So this last one I do think is, like, the most juicy, I guess.
I'm very excited.
I think
this is about poisoning the housemate, right?
Yes. Am I the asshole for poisoning my housemate who ate my food without my permission and ended up in the ER? So I, 19 male, recently moved into a shared place, and there's someone who keeps stealing my food. At first, I thought it was just a mistake, but even my leftovers were being eaten. It was very clear that the person was doing it on purpose. I spoke to my housemates about how I would just prefer to be asked first, but they were nonchalant about it, and none of them admitted to doing it, and I haven't caught anyone in the act, so I just tried to ignore it, as it only happened every couple days or so.
Pretty often.
Yeah, which is still pretty often. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is by Gloomy Isopod 8132.
Amazing.
Fun. A few days ago, I came home from work with a carton of eggs that I found while dumpster diving and some bread. I wanted to give the eggs the water test first before eating them just to make sure that they are safe to consume, but I was too tired and went to bed early without eating. The next day, I found out that one of my housemates got so sick he ended up having to go to the emergency room. My eggs were not in the fridge where I left them, but I saw the carton and shells in the trash and my bread was open. I had a hunch that it was him because there was a possibility that the eggs had gone bad, but I was so annoyed at the fact that he helped himself to my food without asking. When he came back, I asked him if he had eaten my eggs and bread, but he denied. I then said, okay, but I hope whoever ate them doesn't get as sick as you did because I found the eggs in a dumpster. His face immediately dropped and he looked visibly uncomfortable. He got angry and went from saying that he may have consumed the food by mistake, as he wasn't paying attention and doesn't exactly remember, and accusing me of poisoning him. He said that it's a health hazard to bring such food in communal spaces without warning everyone first, as it's not uncommon for people in shared spaces to eat other people's food by mistake. He hasn't spoken to me since then, and my housemates are siding with him and calling me disgusting for doing that. A part of me feels like I wasn't wrong because they were my eggs that I was fully intending on eating, and I didn't think I had to warn people against eating food that didn't belong to them. But I also do feel bad and guilty that he got sick. So, Reddit, please tell me if I was in the wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
What are your thoughts?
A, dumpster diving for food in the first place, kind of a wild concept. Eggs? Wild.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think dumpster diving is for food is too wild of a concept because there's so many like restaurants that throw out food that are really good, like Too Good to Go. If you haven't heard of it, it's basically this app where you can like get food that restaurants are going to throw out anyways at the end of the day, and instead of throwing them out, they like package them up and give it to you for like really discounted.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the same idea of that in my mind, but you're playing a bigger game of risk because you're physically going to like the dumpsters. Yeah,
that's fair. I don't know, I'm still just a little shocked that this person was like, dumpster eggs sounds like a good idea.
I agree. That's
it's not. It's like that's not an important part of it, but I just felt like I needed to say it.
It's okay.
I do not think that they're the asshole at all.
No.
I think that it's ridiculous that their roommate keeps on eating their food, and like it has been happening, and
they've said something too.
Yeah, they said something to everybody, and everyone was denying it. And I think it's also ridiculous that like that roommate like totally denied eating it in the first place too. Like, okay, eggs and milk are the two like most likely
easily spoiled.
Yeah, to spoil, but also like, oh man, you know, I just need one egg.
Yeah.
You know, like maybe I'll grab one from my housemate and I'll like, you know, replace it with a different one.
Exactly.
You know, like,
or like I'll buy the next carton.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I still feel like in those cases it's better to ask or like shoot off a text.
Yeah.
First. I don't know. But, like, also, it's just not your food.
It's not your food. Sarah and I are both very protective of our food, I think.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, we still are like, oh, hey, like, I'm gonna grab, like, an egg that was, like, definitely a communal thing. Like, our friend brought over eggs. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is definitely communal. And we have
we have duck eggs now.
Nice!
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
We should totally try them together.
We will.
Sorry.
Anyways. Very, very excited.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some things in our household that are communal and that we kind of acknowledge they are, like teas, communal.
Yes.
And for the most part, even I still ask, I'm like, can I have this one feels a little bit more special? Is this good still?
Yeah.
And we'll double check with one another.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we know it's communal and what's not.
Yeah, right.
And I just find, like, you have spent your money on this. Food is something that can be super expensive.
Yeah.
And also is kind of a chore to get. Like, you have to go grocery shopping. You have to kind of go out of your way to get food. So I think it's super, super disrespectful to just, like, eat someone else's food.
Well, and it's, like, a thing that you plan around. You
Yeah.
know? Like, if I know that I have 6 potatoes, you know, that means that I can eat potatoes for the next 2 weeks or something, you know? But then if someone comes in and eats 2 potatoes,
it's not.
I have to go to the store earlier now, you know? Like, something that I needed a certain number of potatoes for, I might not be able to make.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, kind of a really annoying situation. So, dang. That's also just so embarrassing. Can you imagine, like, why did you go to the ER? Well, you see, I've been eating my roommate's food without telling them.
And they have been dumpstered.
And apparently they picked these eggs out of a dumpster. It's just so insane. I don't know why. Like, I had totally assumed that this person had, like, smeared peanut butter on something. You know?
Yeah.
And, like, purposely was trying to catch it.
Yeah.
Catch a person. But this, like, it wasn't even on purpose.
Now that you say it.
Oh my gosh.
Edit. Just to clarify, because I see comments that have suggested that I may have done this on purpose. I didn't. I have been dumpster diving for some of my food recently, so I was fully intending on eating it, just like I've been eating the food that I've been finding while dumpster diving in the past. I try to exercise caution, and thankfully it hasn't made me sick yet, but had he not eaten it, I was probably going to end up in the ER myself because I was obviously going to eat it. I didn't randomly do it just to try to bait and catch whoever has been eating my food. Food poisoning is not a joke. As I said, I just moved in recently and I'm just trying to get on my feet. I also understand that although I make sure to wipe my food first, ultimately it is gross to put food that came from a dumpster in a communal fridge or pantry and will not continue to do so. I will just put it in my room from now on. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either.
But yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah.
I still don't think the poster is like the asshole.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think so. I think that there could have been a way to, like, that story to be written where the poster would be an asshole just based on the title, you know? And, like, I feel like people make their titles kind of scandalous.
Yeah,
just to
get
views,
you. Just to get
you
you.
know? Just to, like, oh, well, obviously it appears that you are, you know? But yeah, no. I was expecting it to be something like, you know, one of our roommates is allergic to eggs. Don't kill them.
Yeah. Don't put eggs in something slightly. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
that
but
would
like
cause an allergic reaction.
yeah, like sneak it in to be malicious.
I am interested in, like, so they must have just had a bad bout of food poisoning.
Yeah.
And went to the ER for that.
Must have.
So I'm wondering too if the ER trip was super necessary. Because I think you could... Okay, obviously I don't know the symptoms or anything, but if you have food poisoning, the best you can usually do is, like, wait it out.
Suffer, yeah.
Yeah, you have to kind of suffer.
Just drink a lot of water because you're losing a lot of liquid.
And then just flush it out as best you can. But the roommate had to have known it came from something they ate.
Yeah. Which is silly why they would be like...
Oh, I didn't
eat those eggs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. There's just a lot of questions. Like, I feel like the roommate doesn't really think things through, obviously, and is just trying to get free food where they can.
Wild. Yeah. I guess a secondary theme of these stories is mooching.
Mooching. Yeah. It's true.
Mooching off the cheese.
Mooching off
the ribs. Mooching off
the eggs.
Food, eggs. Dumpster eggs.
Yeah.
It's wild. It just goes to show. Shouldn't mooch. That's your life lesson from today.
Or, like, if you're mooching, have the people that you're mooching from also mooch from you sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like girl math.
Things, exactly. All things in equal measure.
Yeah, right. No, that makes sense.
Everything should feel balanced. If you happen to be stealing your roommate's food, they should be stealing from you as well. Yeah. And I think then you both have that knowledge of, okay.
Right.
We're going to take food from each other, and that's just a thing we have to do.
Well, and, like, at that point, it's almost like you're planning on it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to get more of this stuff than I need because I know that, you know, Kiera also likes tomatoes or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Those were fun. Those were super fun, though.
I
Yay,
know. I was
thanks.
like, this is going to be good. Because last time we thought about doing Reddit stories, I was kind of pulling them up, like, last minute. And it was like, ooh, these don't feel interesting or fun at all.
I wish that this was better.
And so we just never ended up doing them. But this time, with Thanksgiving,
Amazing.
I thought the food thing would fit. And these were kind of interesting stories.
Them. No, I thought it was
Wanted
funny.
to hear your hot takes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we agreed on most of them.
Yeah, I thought anyone was doing, like, I don't think I disagreed with any of them except for the food dishing one.
Yeah. Well, in the edit, it's like, that was a good way to get it solved, you know?
Yeah, it was a good compromise.
Yeah. I often wonder why people put stuff out, like, on these, and, like, I guess maybe solutions are part of the, like, perk? I don't know.
I think Reddit, like, there's a bunch of subreddits, I think how it works, and you kind of reply to a certain theme, and some of them can be advice, some of them can be like, am I the asshole? Some of them are just like stories, like, off your chest that you just want to kind of get out there, like, you can't maybe say it to anyone, but you want to put it somewhere.
Would you ever do that?
I don't know.
I don't think
That's
I would.
why a lot of people make throwaway accounts. But I just talked to you.
Yeah, I was like
on my chest instead.
No, that's so fair. Who was I talking with? I don't know. I was talking with someone, and it's like, I really don't think there's much that I wouldn't feel comfortable talking with you about.
Yeah.
Because someone had asked me, it's like, you know, how many drinks would you have to, like, ask someone, like, whatever, you know? And I was like,
0?
None. Like, you know, like, are there any questions that you would want to ask Kiera, you know, if you had a couple drinks in you? And I was like, no.
Wait, who was asking you this?
Matthew.
Of course.
Yeah. Because we were talking about Hot Seat, which is, like, a game that you can play where it's, like, either, like, a very nice, innocent, like, get-to-know-you game, or it can be, like, tell me everything.
Yeah, I want to dig deep.
Yeah. Let's get to the root of what's going on, you know? And I was like,
I don't think there's anything that I would be like, oh, I can't talk to Sarah about this. I don't want to. Sometimes it's like got to be the right vibe. Like, I'm not going to be like, time for some therapy while we're like on a casual fun outing.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Let's go ice skating. So,
I want to tell you about my trauma.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
Great.
So there's like usually a time and a place.
Yeah.
But
I agree. And I think that's just on good social skills.
Yeah, and having a good support system.
True.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you don't have a good support system, it could be harder.
Yeah, and that's why there's Reddit.
And podcasting.
Exactly. We are now your friends.
We're just
This
talking
is what
to
you would call a psychosocial relationship. Psycho? Is that the right word?
Parasocial.
Parasocial. I messed it up. Parasocial relationship.
Yeah.
Because you know us really well, but we may not even know who you are. And we're glad you're here anyways.
For everyone listening, our huge fan base.
Yeah, all 4 people.
Thanks.
2 if you count us as not listeners. Anyways, it's all good. To the people who have not, you know, listened to our past episodes, you can find them on Spotify or on YouTube. We have a video up for this one as well, so you should head over and see our beautiful faces. I'm wearing a sweater. It is not a Christmas sweater per se, but there will be more Christmassy sweaters in the future.
We're definitely in the season.
We are in the season. There's a reason for the season, and it is Cher's new album. Go listen to it.
Oof.
It's so fun.
Snaps.
I love Cher. Amazing. But yeah.
Yeah,
We release
so
episodes
every Wednesday.
Perfect.
Every Wednesday. I was gonna cut her off. Sorry, my bad.
No,
my bad.
You go.
Yeah, we release episodes every Wednesday. We're going to hope to keep this up even over winter break, and we're going to keep our little microphone with us. But I think that's all we have for you for this episode. And thanks so much for watching.
Arguably Speaking.
Bye.
Bye.